Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP, and welcome to another episode of The Game According to Me. We gotta talk about a lot of stuff in a short amount of time, so let's go ahead and let's just jump right into it. Let's take a look at the NBA standings in the first couple weeks of the National Basketball Association. We'll start in the Eastern Conference with the Celtics and the 76ers have both jumped off to a 5-1 record. The 76ers have just traded James Harden now to the Clippers. They're getting rid of that headache, so they are looking good. The Bucks with 4-2. The Hawks are in fourth with 4-3. The Magic are 4-3. The Pacers are 4-3. The Cavaliers are 3-4, and the Nets are 3-4. The Knicks are 3-4. The Raptors are 3-4. The Heat are 3-4. My Chicago Bulls are 3-5. The Hornets are 2-4. The Pistons are 2-6, and the Wizards are 1-5. We expected some of this stuff, and when we look at the lower half, the Pistons are still a young team. They're probably not learning how to win yet, but I think they still got a lot of great talent. The same thing with the Hornets. And we got some good talent down there as well. And the Wizards, we know what it is. This is probably, they traded Bradley Beal, got some players back, so they are probably be one of the worst teams this year. The Heat, it seems like every year the Heat start off slow, but then they end up being in the playoffs and in the conference finals. So I shouldn't worry about the Heat. My Bulls I don't know what, but for me, there's a lot of talk in Chicago about doing the, getting, rebuilding and things like that. I don't want to rebuild. I've been through enough rebuilds. That doesn't work. It's just we have to retool. I think that's it. We have to retool if we're gonna do anything. So, what it is what it is. As we go ahead to the Western Conference, we start with the Denver Nuggets at 7-1. Best team in the conference right now. The defending world champions. No doubt about it. The Dallas Mavericks are 6-1. Looks like Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic are going to be working together and maybe working fine. The Golden State Warriors, kind of a surprise, are at 6-2. But should we be surprised when you have Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Stephen Curry, and Andrew Wiggins, and you added Chris Paul to that mix, and Steve Kerr as the head coach? We should have realized that maybe they were going to be a top-tier team in the Western Conference. The Timberwolves are at fourth place with a 4-2 record. We get the Pelicans at 4-3, the Thunder at 4-3, the Clippers are at 3-3, the Rockets are at 3-3, surprisingly enough. But the coach down there, Ime Udoka, who was a coach in Boston, I think he's a pretty good coach. So he's probably got some people down there, working hard. Wembyama and the Spurs are 3-4. The Lakers are 3-4. Trailblazers, Suns are also 3-4 as well. The Kings are 2-4. They started off starting off pretty slow. Let's see if they can get back into the mess. Same thing with the Suns, but the Suns have had some injury concerns. Haven't had Bradley Beal or Devin Booker, to start the season for the most part. So we'll see if they get back when everybody gets healthy and they should make a run. And the Grizzlies are 1-6, and obviously, even though the past couple of years they played well without John Morant, this year this might be the year off. First 25 games, John Morant must miss, and so this might be this might be a little bit of a thing. We'll see after 25 games how the Grizzlies' record is, where they're at, and then we'll see if maybe the remaining 47 games, right? 57 games to see what happens with John Morant and that. So that's a quick look at the NBA standings, first couple of weeks of the season. We'll come back in a couple of weeks and look again and see how the NBA is shaped up. But now let's talk about the college football rankings that happened last week. Okay, so last week was the first college football rankings set out by the committee of this season. I found it very shocking. Who's number one? It was Ohio State. Even though Georgia has been number one, defending national champions, number one all throughout the other polls, but they ranked Ohio State number one. So that's, I thought that was shocked. Georgia was 2, Michigan was 3, Florida State was 4. Okay, So we get all 4 teams there. We get a team from ACC, that's not Clemson, that's amazing. 2 Big Ten teams, and we've got Georgia. So as we look ahead down the rest of the rankings, Washington was 5, Oregon was 6. And that's kind of shocking. And that makes sense because Washington beat Oregon. Texas was 7. Texas lost to Oklahoma. Alabama was 8. Alabama lost to, who did Alabama lose to? They lost to somebody. I can't remember. But Alabama was 8. Oklahoma was 9. They lost to Kansas just a couple weeks ago. Ole Miss was 10. Penn State was 11. Penn State beat Ohio State. Missouri was 12, Louisville 13, LSU 14, Notre Dame 15, Oregon State 16, Tennessee 17, Utah 18, UCLA 19, USC 20, Kansas 21, Oklahoma State 22, Kansas State 23, Tulane 24, and Air Force 25. Tulane is the highest group of 5, so they would go to one of the New Year's 6 bowl games. So, that's what the college football rankings were last week. Now, as we transition into looking back at what went down this past week in the college football game, we can see there might be some changes throughout this. I think there will be some replacements. Some people will go higher, some people will go lower, some people will be off the list. I think there's 2 teams in particular, Notre Dame and USC, that should not be on the college football rankings after their just ridiculous losses they had. But let's go ahead and let's talk about that. As we look at Rutgers, they played Ohio State. They lost 35-16. Ohio State should still remain the number 1 team in the college football rankings, maybe. But Georgia beat a ranked Missouri team, and so that should maybe keep, that might put Georgia up in the standings as they beat Missouri 30-21. Also, Texas beat Kansas State 33-30 in overtime. Kansas State went, instead of kicking a field goal, they went for it on 4th down, and the quarterback slipped and fell, and it was just an awful. I think this. There is one thing about being aggressive and going for it and things like that, and there's other things where it's just do the common sense thing. And common sense thing was just to kick the field goal, send it to second overtime. Mississippi beat Texas A&M 38-35 with a barn burner. Tennessee just smashed Connecticut 59-3. Notre Dame lost to Clemson. A 4-4 Clemson team, not on the record. I just, as a Notre Dame fan, I had nothing to say about it. Usually, afterwards on my Facebook page and on my Twitter page, I will talk about Notre Dame and the victory or the loss or whatever it is, and Now, part of that was I was watching Crown Jewel, WWE Crown Jewel, so I couldn't do most of that. But I still had on the other TV Notre Dame and Clemson, and I was just disgusted. I was disgusted by it. I mean, it's just I'm not sure what's going on here, and Marcus Freeman. He seems like a good guy and maybe even a good coach, but this is not something. I don't think Brian Kelly would have had Notre Dame with the talent that they have, would have had Notre Dame losing to Clemson, losing to Louisville, would have been struggling to beat Duke, would have maybe even would have had 10 guys on the field to for Ohio State to stop them and win that game. So I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know if I'm a fan of Marcus Freeman yet, because he's just this shouldn't be it. And I was so wrong about Sam Hartman. The first 4 games of the season really it really fooled me, because I swore I thought the Fighting Irish finally had a quarterback that could could make up for it, and he's he's just shown that he's not really that guy. He's not really that guy. He may have the most touchdowns in the FBS history or whatever it is. But he does not. That may be because of the system. Maybe he was in the really pass happy system or something like that. But because it's just he's not looking right to me. So, but yeah, Notre Dame lost to Clemson 23-31. In other places, UNC beat Campbell once again. I hate this thing. This is their, they sign up these FCS teams for their homecoming, and then they get them and blow them out 59-7. See, here it goes. I don't know if this was their homecoming, but Utah taking on a conference team, Arizona State. Guess what? They whipped their ass 55-3. That's how you do it. Louisville beat Virginia Tech 34-3. James Madison beat Georgia State 42-14. Tulane beat East Carolina 13-10. Florida State kept it good continue. They beat Pittsburgh 24-7. Penn State beat Maryland 51-15. In Bedlam, Oklahoma State beat Oklahoma 27-24. So that means that Oklahoma is now going to drop down from where they was at. They was at 9, so they should drop down. And Oklahoma State should probably come up a few notches as well from their ranking of 22. So that would be interesting. Like we talked about, Oregon beat California 63-19. Oregon with only one loss on their record, on their thing, should stay at 6. Liberty beat Virginia Tech 56-30. Kansas beat Iowa State 28-21. They should go up in the rankings, I believe. Washington should stay at 5 after they beat USC 52-42. A lot of talk about Caleb Williams and what he was doing at that game, and there was some stuff we've seen on Twitter where last year Max Duggan from TCU was, after the game against the Big 12 championship game loss, he was very emotional and upset. And Caleb Williams quote tweeted that and said, "Lol." Well, Max Duggan got his revenge today, and he quote tweeted what looked to be maybe an inconsolable Caleb Williams upset and possibly crying and saying "lol." So yeah, I agree with what somebody said. Don't don't go trolling if you can't handle it. What's the saying? People in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. And he threw some stones, and he gets what he always gets to. Michigan beat Purdue 41-13. Alabama beat LSU 42-28. Oregon State beat Colorado 26-19. And Arizona beat UCLA 27-10. Quickly to Michigan. A lot of stuff going around with this, new, stuff happened. Connor Stallings, I think is his name. He resigned from Michigan because of the whole thing that is going on with the sign stealing thing. And there's a lot of things going around where the coaches of the Big Ten are wanting to force the Big Ten commissioner to put sanctions on Michigan, and wants them to suspend Jim Harbaugh, things like that. There's a report that the people who let the NCAA know that people were sign stealing was members of Ryan Day's family. So there was that. And this is gonna be real interesting to see what happens with Michigan. If something happens sooner than later, or is it gonna happen after the whole thing is complete? So it's gonna be interesting. If Michigan ends up being undefeated but unable to compete in the college football playoff because of this scandal, this is going to be one of the biggest, biggest talking points in college football history. about how Michigan, undefeated, was unable to compete in the national championship playoffs because of sign stealing. So that's going to be absolutely insane. Now let's look ahead to this week's upcoming action. We've got Louisville at Virginia this Thursday night, and then Saturday we've got the action starts with Texas Tech at Kansas, Alabama's at Kentucky, Michigan is at Penn State. This is probably the biggest one right here. You know, Michigan undefeated. Obviously, they got Ohio State left, but if Michigan can get past Penn State, then there's probably a chance that they'll make the national playoff. Despite depending on the everything that's going on with the scandal and everything, but they might make it no matter what because of if they lose to Penn State and they beat Ohio State, and then so things can still happen for Michigan there. Tulane will take on Tulsa. Old Dominion's at Liberty. Arizona's at Colorado, and Colorado had another bad loss this past week. And again, it's just like my Fighting Irish. Colorado started off so hot and so cool and everything like that it really just it really was, especially at TCU. When they came out for TCU, because TCU was such a big favorite, and for them to not only cover but actually win outright was extremely satisfying in some sort of fashion. But unfortunately, I just think that as much as he's got a good quarterback and his son Shador, he's got some talent around him with the running back is a really good talent, and Travis Hunter plays both ways, receiver and quarterback. There's a lot of people out there that's the talent that he has. He probably doesn't have enough talent, and we'll see what happens. I think that I think athletes will go and play. 5-star athletes will go and play for Deion in Colorado. I don't think he needs to move anywhere else. I would. I will say that I would like to see Deion, maybe get a job, win a national championship at Colorado before he moves on to someone. I think he possibly move on. He could, obviously that's his alma mater, Florida State, but obviously Florida State's doing well right now, so they don't need one. But then there's the SEC, and I think that's the big one, right? That's the big one. The SEC is maybe the big one where, you can talk about where they would move. If he would make a move in college football, it would be to the SEC. But I think Deion is a good coach, and I think he'll get Colorado turned around, and hopefully he'll get it turned around before he leaves. Connecticut is at James Madison. Tennessee, Missouri, that should be another good game in the second window. Utah, Washington could be a good game too in the second window. Both teams ranked, both teams looking to maybe Utah again was ranked 18th, so they don't have a shot to really make the playoffs. But we have Washington, who's ranked 5th, and they've definitely got a chance. They got to continue to keep winning and hope that somebody falters down the stretch, and they also got to hope that they falter big, because like I said, there's a possibility that you could choose Michigan over a one-loss Michigan over Washington. There's a slight chance because of the name value, but you never know. Florida State and Miami, that's the battle of the Seminole Trophy, I think it is, so that's cool. That's going to be a nice one. Oklahoma State's at UCF. Stanford's at Oregon State. Mississippi's at Georgia. West Virginia's at Oklahoma. Texas is at TCU. LSU hosts Florida. Michigan State's at Ohio State. That should be a bludgeoning. Duke and UNC for the victory bell. And USC and Oregon. Oregon should smoke their ass Saturday night. So there you have it. A look Back at Week 10 and a preview of Week 11 of the College Football Playoff, let's now jump to the National Football League. So before we discuss the NFL, quick thought on the baseball. The World Series was over pretty quickly. Like I said last week, it was going to be a quick one, and it was over quickly the next night on Wednesday as the Texas Rangers beat the Arizona Diamondbacks 4-1. There's a tremendous, playoff on the road for the Texas Rangers. They won each of their road games, went 11-0 on the road in the playoffs. Bruce Bochy, particularly great coach, I think now he submitted himself for the Hall of Fame, has four World Series championships to his name. 3 with San Francisco, 1 with Texas, and that's good. I think Corey Seager, he was the World Series MVP, and so many other great things there. So congratulations to the Texas Rangers winning the World Series. They played their ass off and they deserved it. So now look back to Week 9 of the NFL. We're talking NFL now. We've got the Steelers beating the Titans on Thursday night, 20-16. The Chiefs beat the Dolphins this last Sunday over in Germany, 21-14. So now the Chiefs are the number 1 seed in the AFC. And a little fun fact for you who don't know, each team of the AFC North would be in the playoffs if the playoffs started now. So that's just something to talk about. The Vikings beat the Falcons 31-28. Kirk Cousins obviously is out with the torn Achilles tendon. They started the rookie Jaron Hall from BYU. He got concussed. They traded this week for Joshua Dobbs from Arizona. And he had to come in, and he played tremendously for them. Brought them back into the game, and the Vikings won 31-28. It's amazing. The Saints beat the Bears 24-17. Tyson Bateman, a bad fourth quarter, 4 turnovers in that game. He had 3 interceptions and he had 1 fumble. But he's a rookie. Rookies are going to have those type of games. There's some people talking about his arm strength. Still, I don't know. I don't know if it's necessarily his arm strength. I think what it is that he was not putting it out in front of the receiver. Right? He was throwing he was throwing it where the receiver could stop, but stop to catch it, but it was being ran in front of by the defender. So I don't know if Tyson Bates' arm strength. I'm not gonna kill somebody because of their arm strength, because I think we've seen that that you don't necessarily have to have a great arm to win in this league. And I think Joe Burrow proves it. Tua Tagovailoa proves it. I think Brock Purdy proved it before his little streak before this week. So yeah, I don't think so. But maybe he'll hopefully get one more game. Hopefully he should get more than one more game. But we're going to see. The Falcons beat the Packers beat the Rams 20-3. They were without Matthew Stafford. Brett Rippon tried his best, but he just couldn't do anything with the Packers defense. Commanders beat the Patriots 20-17. The Patriots are 5 under 500. This is the first time they have been 5 games under 500 since 2000. So that's a big one, The Ravens beat the Seahawks 37-3. Once again, shockingly beating a NFC division leader's ass. They did like the Lions a couple weeks ago, and then like they did the Seahawks this week. So I obviously don't have like things. I don't get to watch games. I don't know. I don't know if Lamar Jackson is improving as a quarterback. The last time I saw him play quarterback, I just don't think he's that good of a quarterback. But maybe he is improving. So we have to wait and see. I have to try to find out when watch a game when they are on national television or something like that, so that I can see for myself. It doesn't look like he is catching up or not. The Texans beat the Buccaneers 39-37. just a tremendous last couple minutes in that game where Baker Mayfield took the Buccaneers down the field, scored a touchdown, and then the Texans with like seconds left, they drew down the field. C.J. Stroud used the end zone touchdown. He threw 5 touchdowns, over 400 yards, no interceptions. He is right now the rookie of the year, and it's not even close. And it's just tremendous, and it is so good to see him play, like he's been playing, and it's fun to watch. The Browns shut out the Cardinals 27-0. Reports have been that Kyler Murray will play this upcoming week for the Cardinals, so that should be a fun one for them. See Kyler Murray back in the field, see if he's lost anything or anything like that. Colts beat the Panthers, 27-13. 2 pick sixes for Kenny Moore II off of Bryce Young helped the Colts win this game. The Raiders beat the Giants 30-6. Antonio Pierce, interim Raiders head coach, won his first game. Giants quarterback Daniel Jones tore his ACL in this game. He is out for the season. So the Giants, it'll be interesting to see now how the Giants do in the rest of the season, where they fall, and when the draft comes, and the draft does come, will they be looking for a quarterback, or will they go back to Daniel Jones? The Eagles beat the Cowboys 28-23. Pretty good game there. Cowboys kept up with the Eagles, was not shut out, and the Eagles, a lot of people have said the Eagles they haven't been impressive that much as their record has been. But I think that when you do have that record that you do have, 7-1, 8-1, whatever it is, that you gotta say that they are impressive and they're just winning. The Bengals beat the Bills on Sunday Night Football 24-18. Was this 18? Yeah, 24-18. There's been talking about like the Bills and what's wrong with the Bills. Listen, I think there's a couple of things. One, they really need to get themselves a running back. And this is fun. They drafted James Cook, a year or two ago. They've got they signed Latavius Murray, and they got a couple other guys. But what they need is somebody, somebody explosive. And that's why when the rumors were happening last year that the Carolina Panthers were going to trade Christian McCaffrey, that's why I said the Bills should jump onto that they would be awesome, because not only does he catch the ball, he can run the ball as well. So and it would have been fantastic to help Josh Allen out a lot, because Josh Allen was running, and he's been running way too much. He just is. He's running, and I don't care that he's 6'5", 250, things like that. He runs way too much, and it's not, it's not enough. It's not the way it should be for Josh Allen. And last night on Monday Night Football, the Chargers beat the Jets 27-6. I bet you they are hoping and praying that Aaron Rodgers can come back. As we look ahead to Week 10 of the National Football League, we've got on Thursday Night Football, my Bears once again taking on the Carolina Panthers. Should be interesting. 2 teams that traded for the first round for the first pick in last year's NFL draft, playing with Bryce Young. Again, we don't know. Justin Fields' thumb is it's day to day. Who knows what's going to happen? I'm worried that they're going to put in Justin Fields because of the game that Tyson Bagent just had in New Orleans, throwing all of the picks and things like that. But I would hope to see Tyson Bagent this game. And again, like I said, for the rest of the season, I think I know what Justin Fields is. I don't know what Tyson Bagent is. People say the same way, he's not going to be this, he's not going to do that. You just don't know. So, anyway. So we have that coming up Thursday. Sunday's action over in Germany. We got the Colts and the Patriots. I'm sure the Germans are gonna love that. We got the Browns and the Ravens. That should be a good one. That Browns defense against this new kind of high-powered Ravens offense, maybe. The Packers are at the Steelers. 49ers coming off their bye week. The Jaguars, who are probably coming off their bye week too as well, right? Yeah, 'cause they didn't play this Sunday, so yeah, both teams coming off their bye week. Let's see if Brock Purdy can get back on track, or if they still have problems. You know, that they obviously traded for Chase Young. That'll be Chase Young's first game in the 49ers uniform. Vikings at host the Saints. We'll see if where they're probably. I'm gonna guess they're gonna go with Josh Dobbs, whether Jaron Hall is out of concussion protocol or not. Yeah, I think as after this past week, he probably deserves it. The Texans are at the Bengals. C.J. Stroud going to face that Bengals, starting defense, which is for the last couple of games has been up and held opponents to under 20 points. So we'll see what happens with that. The Titans are at the Buccaneers. Will Levis has played well in his first two games. Let's see if he can continue on against the Buccaneers. The Lions are at the Chargers. Chargers two winning streak, 2 wins, looking to try to keep advantage. So one of those AFC North teams falter, they can jump in the playoff spot. But the Lions, they're looking to prove that they are still an NFC contender. So they have to beat the Chargers. I think that's going to be a very good game come the afternoon. The Falcons are at the Cardinals. The Giants at the Cowboys. Cowboys should ramshack them. The Commanders are at the Seahawks. The Jets are at the Raiders on Sunday Night Football. The way the Raiders played recently, this past week, and the Jets have played. This could be one of those games where this could get out of hand. And they, back-to-back weeks, the Raiders beat both New York teams' ass. So we'll have to see about that. And then on Monday Night Football with the Broncos at the Bills. Bills should get back on track against the Broncos, but they need to do a lot of stuff. They need to get some stuff together. And they get an extra day to do it because it's on Monday Night Football, but the Bills need this game against the Broncos. So, but yeah, there you have it. The recap and preview of the National Football League. And we unfortunately have to end this podcast with some tragic news that happened this week, and we're going to talk about it. Wednesday night, legendary basketball coach Bob Knight died at the age of 83. Bob Knight was a coach for the Indiana Hoosiers for over 30 years before he had some scandals that led to his firing. Then coached the Texas Tech Raiders for another few years afterwards. He did work on ESPN, and but it had been so many other things. He was brought back to Indiana several years ago. After they wanted to honor the team that won the national championship, I think in '81. So yeah, they brought him back. So I'm going to read something here from ESPN to kind of give you a look at Bob Knight. Bob Knight, whose Hall of Fame career was highlighted by 3 national titles at Indiana, one capping an undefeated season not since matched, and countless on-court outbursts, has died. He was 83. Knight's family made the announcement Wednesday night. He was hospitalized with an illness in April and had been in poor health for several years. Quote, "It is with a heavy heart that we share that Coach Bob Knight passed away at his home in Bloomington, surrounded by his family." Quote, the statement said. Quote, "We are grateful for all of the thoughts and prayers and appreciate the continued respect for our privacy as Coach requested a private family gathering, which is being honored." Unquote. Knight became the youngest coach at a Division I school in 1965 when he broke in at Army at 24. But he made his mark at Indiana, including winning a school record 661 games and reaching the NCAA tournament 24 times in 29 seasons. Knight's first NCAA title came in 1976 when Indiana went undefeated, a feat no team has accomplished since. One of the things that he said to our 1976 team, which I was fortunate enough to be a part of, was that you may never see another team like this again. unquote, Indiana University Board of Trustee Chair Quinn Buckner said in a statement. Quote, well, I don't know that we will ever see another coach like him again, unquote. Knight won 20 or more games in the season 29 times, compiling a career record of 902 and 31. In 1984, he coached the Olympic team to a gold medal in Los Angeles, the last American amateur team to claim Olympic gold, and to no surprise, it came with controversy. Knight kept Steve Alford, the leader of Knight's last national championship team in 1987, on his squad while courting the likes of future Hall of Famers John Stockton and Charles Barkley. Nicknamed the General, Knight was eventually forced out of Indiana in 2000 for violating a zero-tolerance behavior policy by grabbing the arm of a freshman student whom he said greeted him by his last name. It was the final transgression in a long list which included his most infamous incident, throwing a chair at a Purdue game and accusations of numerous physical confrontations. The most notable involved Knight apparently choking a player, Neil Reed, in a practice in 1997. Knight then left to become the basketball coach at Texas Tech in 2001, 6 months after being fired by Indiana for what school officials called their pattern of unacceptable behavior. In Knight's 6 full years at Texas Tech, he led the Red Raiders to 5 20-win seasons, a first at the school. Knight passed former North Carolina coach Dean Smith as the then winningest Division I men's coach, January 1, 2007, getting career win number 880 to celebrate the milestone. Knight chose the song My Way by Frank Sinatra, a mantra for how he navigated his personal and professional worlds. We're gonna. This is kind of lengthy. Robert Montgomery Knight was born October 25, 1940, in Massillon, Ohio, and was a prep basketball, baseball, and football star for Oroville High School. While a player at Ohio State, his teams combined an overall record of 78-6. The Buckeyes won the national title in 1960. Knight was 0-for-1 with personal fouls in a 75-55 win over California in the title game, and he averaged 3.7 points as a sub that season. Captured the Big Ten title during all 309 season. After his college career ended, he went into coaching. He was an Army assistant when he was elevated to head coach, succeeding Tate Locke. Knight coached from 1975 to 1971 at Army, going 102-50. He then moved to Indiana, where his Hoosiers went 662 and 239 from 1991 to 2000. Dressed in his trademark red sweater, he won national titles there in 1976, 1981, and 1987. Knight spent 5 decades competing against usually beating some of the game's most revered names: Adolph Rupp, Smith, John Wooden in the early years, Krzyzewski, Big Bertino, and Roy Williams in the later years. He's a guy I idolized when I got here in 1983 because Bobby Knight was the man, Michigan State coach Tom Izzo said. Quote, he treated me great and he helped me. I wish people knew what a great heart he had. He was a different dude, but if you needed some help, he would answer the bell. The game has lost an icon. He was a complex man. He had a lengthy record of outbursts over the years. He was later charged and later convicted for hitting a policeman in Puerto Rico. He headbutted Indiana player Sharon Wilkerson while screaming at him on the bench. He was accused of wrapping his hands around the player's neck, and he allegedly kicked his own son. Knight claimed he actually kicked the chair his son sat on. He gave a mock whipping to Calbert Cheney, a black Indiana player, during a 1992 practice for the NCAA West Regional, offending several black leaders. Knight denied any racial connotations, and none of the bull whip was given to him by the players. But Knight never broke NCAA rules, as he had a high graduation rate, and he gave his Texas salary back a few years after he arrived in Lubbock because he didn't believe he earned it. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. there's so much other things. Knight is survived by his wife Karen and sons Tim and Pat. So there's a lot of stuff here. Here that you can look on. It's on ESPN. Just search Bob Knight. Legendary coach Bob Knight dies at 83. It's an ESPN article. You can read the entire article there for yourself if you want to know. So yeah, he was infamous for so many things. He once told Connie Chung that if rape is inevitable, you just lie there and take it. Yeah, again, not something that you want to say, but that was Bobby Knight. He was willing to say anything. His most infamous quote, however, is when they were celebrating him for something, and he talked about that when he dies and the time has come to pass, he wants to be buried upside down so his critics can kiss his ass. So who knows if that's going to happen, if the family is going to do that, has done that or not. But you can tell, no doubt, no matter what controversies he's been a part of, no matter what things that no matter what type of person off the court you may have 30 years, on the court, he was an absolute legend and an icon, and we've lost him. He's dead at the age of 83. So rest in peace, Bobby Knight. With that said, that's how we're going to end this podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. This is your boy, AJTRIP, signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.